Welcome to Hatred.
My
So,
name is not important.
a while back I saw this game for sale on Steam. I had heard a lot about it, good and bad, and wanted to take a look at it for myself.
Feasting on its carcass.
My thoughts?
My whole life
Well,
is
first let's start with some
bitter
backstory.
hatred. And I always
There's been no shortage of controversy around this game. When it was announced to the world on October 16th,
and no
2014,
life is worth saving.
it immediately faced criticism.
And I will put in the
Many
grave as
journalists
many as I can.
found the trailer itself
It's time
controversial,
to kill,
let alone
and
the
it's
actual
time
game.
for me to die.
Even Epic Games, creator of the Unreal Engine which this game runs on, found the whole thing just disagreeable, as have all traces of their logo and the Unreal Engine logo removed from the game and any and all marketing. They wanted their name stricken from the product. Even Valve pulled it from Steam Greenlight, refusing to publish it on their platform. It wasn't until arguments of free speech and general concerns of possible censorship that Valve relented. Less than a day after it was pulled, the game was back on Steam Greenlight and became the most voted on game in Greenlight history. The developers, destructive creations, seem to revel in all this controversy. All news is good news, as the saying goes. However, they did push back against some of the criticism. They pointed out that some of the violence in the game is nothing new. In GTA games, for instance, the player can hunt down and kill civilians. The same can be done in the Saints Row series as well, along with many other games. The game Postal 2 even allows you to pour gasoline over your victims and light them on fire. You can listen to their screams of agony as they run around, even setting others on fire. Violence against innocence is nothing new for video games. It is a well-traveled path, for better or worse. However, in most of these games, there was potential punishment for your actions, be it police, army, your victims attacking back, and the games weren't solely focused on acts of violence. This is what makes Hatred stand apart. Its primary gameplay, the sole focus of the game, is simply to kill innocents, to kill for pure enjoyment. No material benefit, be it money, or some sort of gang-related event, or otherwise. Simple murder. One could even argue that Hatred is the quintessential murder simulator. Like zombies and Terminators, the protagonist's sole goal is to simply kill. So, my thoughts on the game. I have some very mixed, strong feelings on this one. First, let's kind of break it down, go about this in a more neutral manner before getting to nebulous feelings. Let's start with the basics. Graphics, sound, control. Graphics? Meh. They're not terrible. I guess they do seem to fit the mood. However, they're not very spectacular either. It just simply wasn't wowed by them. I'm barely meh about them. Looks typical for an indie Unreal Engine game. It has that classic look to cheaply made UE games, which is especially evident in the title screen, the model for the protagonist of the game. And once into the main game, everything is just drab. It's like a suicidal goth nihilist decided to pick the color scheme for this game. Everything, as evident in the video, it's just very drab, boring, gray. Very boring stuff. Sound? Well, I can't say much here. I don't have the highest quality hardware for sound, but from what I can tell, the sound seems good. Quality-wise, it's just fine for me. However, again, our plucky little suicidal goth nihilist friend has had his hand in music choice. The music is almost monotone. It's just very simplistic, moody music. I don't mean that in the good way. It's just, again, it's drab. It's just dull. It seems to work fine for this game, but it's not something you'd be rocking out to in a car. Control. Standard twin-stick shooter controls. Think Geometry Wars, Smash TV, or Enter the Gungeon. Not the best sort of control for PC, but I didn't have any major issues with it. Alright, I guess it's time to get to my final thoughts. Honestly, I felt a little weird playing this. I'll admit, I've gone on my crazy rampages in GTA, in Saints Row, in games like Deus Ex. Hell, I did horrible things back in my Gmod crazy day when I was deep in that game. However, Hatred just left a weird feeling for me. A kind of nebulous knot in my stomach that just wouldn't settle.
The first human shields.
Is this due to the content? Or my foreknowledge of the controversy around it? I'm not sure. I know my previous knowledge of the game and the controversy surrounding it was definitely forefront in my mind the entire time I played. I kind of felt dirty, wrong for playing this. I felt like I was to be judged, like if people were watching me and judging me. How dare you play this game? Now, do I think the game itself, from a mechanical standpoint, is bad? Not quite. Gameplay is solid if you ignore the content, and in some ways perversely enjoyable. Oh, I had a blast, pun intended, blowing shit up. It's fun watching houses explode after shooting an oven, or a garage going up in flames after one of gas canisters, which they would ignite and explode a nearby car. The controls worked well enough. I was able to aim fairly easily, and movement seemed to be fine. Picking ammo and items wasn't always clear. It's done automatically, but it's not quite 100% clear when you had picked up something, or gotten an item, or a weapon. So the game isn't necessarily bad from a mechanical point of view, from game mechanics. However, you just can't look past the content and controversy surrounding this game. It personally stuck with me to a point that I had to refund the game. I just wasn't comfortable having it in my library. In the end, I refuse to say if I'd refer this game to anyone. On the one hand, I really kind of don't want to, because the controversial nature of knowing the content of the game. It's a murder simulator. However, I can't feel comfortable dismissing it, for sometimes games will and need to push our comfort zone. Case in point, a game I'll probably be doing a video on soon called Replica. That's another game that really disturbed me, but for very different reasons than Hatred. So I just can't say that one shouldn't play Hatred because it's simply of the content, because I feel that I'd be doing just disservice to the game industry in general. Well, I'm going to wrap this up here. I'll link to the game in the description. There's so much more to know about this game. For instance, it's only the third game to get an adult-only rating solely for violence. The others being Thrill Kill and Manhunt 2. So, be sure to do your own research. It's quite the interesting subject. Thanks for watching, folks, and have a good one.